It's important that every single company that has an e-commerce space is accessible, because whether you target us or not, we are still your customer. I started at Unhidden after my own experience with disability. So I had life-saving surgery in 2012, and then having more surgery in 2016, I was in hospital with another patient who said she couldn't dress how she wanted to at home and at work, and even just in hospital she wasn't very comfortable and constantly had to expose her body. And I got my laptop out in the hospital and thought I'll have a look at what existed, and what existed at the time wasn't very exciting, and it seemed like it was designed more from a carer's perspective than the end wearer. So I thought I'd use my background in fashion, especially as a garment technologist, to make a change. I think a lot of the issues we find with access is usually around physical space. I think what's really frustrating is people they have this attitude of, if they were able, if they wanted to be here, they would be, whereas we're like, no, the reason they're not here is because they can't get in. And the high street loses something like £27 million a month by not being accessible. The EAA was in June of 2025. You have to be compliant digitally. And I think that's a really good step forward, because so much of the disabled community spends time online. That's how I've been able to build friendships and community and trust, because physical spaces are so often excluded to us that having digital spaces that are more accessible can only make our lives better. My driver for installing EnableAll is I want to be the gold standard. I want Unhidden's website to be the gold standard for accessibility and for the e-commerce experience for people with disabilities. Just benchmark it so that everybody else knows what they have to do to level up. EnableAll is an app that comes in and fixes accessibility gaps that you might have within your website to make it easier for screen readers or people who have visual impairments, also people that need extra support with navigation. There's also an absolutely incredible toolbar that allows you to customize your experience on the site. I quite like the fact that you can change the colours, and I do really like that larger cursor, because the amount of times I've lost where the mouse is, I think being able to just, something as simple as being able to enlarge it is a game changer for so many people. I think businesses forget that it's 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 people, depending on which data you're looking at. The spending power of the disabled community is $446 billion a year in the UK, and it's something like $18 trillion globally. If you won't do it from the social impact and the fact that these are already your customers that sometimes might stop being your customers because they can't access your product, to people that might need your product overnight, and as soon as a disabled person has a bad experience, they don't come back to that brand. So for us to be able to say that we can truly serve everybody versus people that don't is obviously going to make it much more business sense and make us much more profitable. My call to action for anybody else in this space is that we have to remember that first and foremost our community is online. That means our online content and spaces need to be accessible. And there is no time like the present to include more people, and you also legally are not going to be allowed to not be inclusive anymore. And there are incredible options like EnableAll out there, so just start your journey with that now.